Peace. This is Spiritual Lifting with V. Let me get your soul swole. Today's subject matter is kindness and fortune. I want to start on today's subject matter by speaking on kindness and also thanking the universe for this beautiful day, thanking the grand creator, the grand architect for this beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you, Heavenly Father, so much for the blessings. Okay. I'm going to reach on today's topic first by talking about kindness. Sometimes in this life, we go through this life and we're moving in such a way and we get bogged down with millions and millions of things that are just hitting us left and right. And we ourselves may not be having the A100 day, the number one day that we would have liked to have for ourselves, right? So definitely if somebody comes across us and they're not having a good day and they start explaining to us how terrible their day is, well, we may not really want to hear it because you may potentially get into this comparison thing where it's like, man, you think your day was bad, my day was even worse. But sometimes that's not what's required. Sometimes what's required is for us to be attentive, pay attention, and move through this world with like some kindness and some love. And there's a huge benefits from being kind. And you can get great fortune, which is the second part. And so I'm going to roll everything into one. But I want to start to talk about this situation. And the reason why I'm talking about this today, I ran into a situation the other day. And I got one of those where they come and pick you up. They're one of those rides, right? And the person was just having an awful day. And it worked out to where they really weren't even they ended up having to give the ride for free because however it was, ended up being the destination was so close, they didn't even make any money. Long story short, I'm not going into all the extra. But what it was is they started going on and saying, man, this was just a horrible day. And, just take the ride. You know, they don't want anything because they didn't make anything on it anyway. Just go ahead. But then they started, all of a sudden all this stuff started pouring out of them. And I was like being very attentive and listening, me and a buddy. And I perceived it one way, he perceived it another way. Okay. But I chose to really be attentive and listen. This person actually was really crying out. And it actually ended up being super powerful because it wasn't just that they were having a bad work day. They had a situation with the child that day. And even more so, they had a close family member that had passed. And all of these things were happening in the same week. And it was one thing after another. And they were saying, you just have those days or those weeks where just nothing's going to go right. Nothing you do, no matter what. And they also were a student and they were having some difficulty with that. And it's like nothing, no matter what you do, nothing to go right. I'm just having this bad luck. Well, first off, the language we use, we shouldn't even put those things on ourselves. We shouldn't use the negative language about any situation because they're only lessons. It's not bad luck. It's not a mistake. It's only a lesson for you to learn and then move past and achieve something higher. And without these lessons, we really can't get to a higher place or a higher state of being, right? So I kind of started pointing out some things that you made it through the day. You got to the end of the day. This is the last stop. You're alive. They said, yes. I said, did you make money today? They said, yes. I said, man, you're so blessed. You're so fortunate. Again, there's so many people that move through this life. They're not even just this right here. The mind keeps them incapable of working, keeps them incapable of moving around, keeps them incapable of achieving anything because they won't move past this. And I'm not going into everything that I said because that's really not necessary. I'm going to stay on subject matter. But I took time and I listened so my perception of the situation could be clear. So you know, I could be attentive because what they were looking for, they needed it. And apparently they didn't have anybody around that they could communicate with, right? No one could, they had all these things bottled up. And really, what went on as far as the situation by the time they encountered me and my buddy, that was really just the last straw. That was just the last straw. The straw that broke the camel's back, as they say, right? And as they were talking, the tears started welling up, and they really started profusely crying. And I was kind of moved a little bit because I'm like, wow, the stress is real. We don't need that. Let it go. They're just lessons in life. Like, be fortunate. Be happy that you had this fortune. And I started realizing, because the energy was moving in such a way, I decided to ask to pray with them. And they allowed me to do that. And I prayed with them. And as I prayed with them, because they're just going and going and the mind is moving, sometimes we need to calm down. We need to collect ourselves. We need to collect everything inside and put it and calm it down a little bit, right? And give the appreciation to the Father for every single moment that happened, the grand creator, the grand architect. Take time. I told him, I says, when you go home, you need to sit back and you really need to reassess the day and look at all the blessings and the fortune that you've been given throughout the day. Reassess why the things have happened to you in your life today. Because to me, a lot of things boil down to having patience. That he's just asking you to have patience. That the Creator's just asking you in your time a need to meditate on Him. To turn to Him. Turn to the Architect, turn to the Creator, turn to the Heavenly Father. That's what He's looking for. Where does that lie? Because He's going to do everything. He's going to put us in His positions. Sometimes He wants us to go through some of these hardships. But these hardships are the things that turn us into these great beings, right? That allow us to move to a higher state. So, by the time this prayer was done, the person just simply turned to me and looked at me and said, wow, you know what? Like, you're right. And they just thanked me for taking the opportunity to pray with them. I mean, look at the fortune all around. This is so beautiful. It's here every day. Like, it's so beautiful. The fortune is everywhere. The beauty is everywhere. We should be appreciative every single day of our lives. Sometimes it's those things that we don't pay attention to them. And they're all around us and we get so caught up and bogged down in this life. And as they were receiving everything, the tears, they just started to go back. They just started to go back up into the eyes and it slowed down and the breath slowed and it calmed down. The Father's hand got on him and His Spirit got in him. We have to learn to love each other out here in society. This is so important, to be kind. Sometimes I walk around and you wave to somebody, you say hi to somebody, and they do everything. They grab the phone all of a sudden. Everybody doesn't want your number. Everybody's not trying to hit on you. Everybody's not trying to do something violent to you. Everybody's not trying to hurt you. Sometimes people are just trying to be kind. It's not a trick to it. Everybody's not trying to scam you. Sometimes people just want to be kind. Sometimes people just want to be loving, right? And in society, people have gotten so used to negativity, negative things like really happening to them, or people being angry or so hateful about their day because they're not satisfied or happy with the lives that they have. And there's so many people that are unsatisfied and happy. But where's their life condition? Where are they placing themselves on a daily basis? Or as soon as you open your eyes, are you telling the Father, thank you? Thank you for the breath in my lungs, having this deep gratitude and appreciation for this life? How are you even beginning your day, moving and waking? What is it that you're putting forth? What is that energy that you're moving out there? Okay. Kindness. Man, it's so powerful. I mean, everybody, like, realistically look around this world today. Look at all the things that are happening. People are losing that in themselves. There's a lot of people that are gaining it because there's a lot of people that are losing it. But there's also a lot of people that are losing this whole thing of kindness and respect and loving one another. We all want to be treated good. We all want to be treated fantastic. We all want to be treated beautifully. So let's treat others that way. It just takes one person to initiate it. But I bet you, I initiated that yesterday, prayed with this person, gave them some semblance of hope. And then in fact, okay, so as soon as I finished praying, my buddy wasn't even there when that part happened. He comes out, look, we know you didn't make any money. Gives her a crispy $20 bill. She don't even got to report that. That's just fresh for your pocket. Boom. Fortune. Just a second ago, you might have made, because the distance was so close, $5-6. You just made $20. You just got to pour your heart out and let those emotional things that were just really straining you and stressing you, you got to release all that. But you turned to the Creator. You were willing to turn to the Creator, and boom. And now it's the end of the day and all you got to do is go straight home. That's the beauty. But if I wouldn't have taken the time to be kind, potentially none of that could have happened, because I actually extended that time there and allowed this other person to bring back some money, which they might not even have done. It's a chain reaction. It's a chain reaction because the fortune, we're going to talk on the fortune, is there every day. You gain so much fortune by unconditionally loving everyone, and by being kind, and by giving it up to the Creator every day. The fortune is not necessarily in the finances. The fortune doesn't come by, just simply because somebody, give you something. The fortune comes from your spirit being lifted. I mean, that's one reason why this is called spiritual lifting with V. Because V wants to lift your spirits up, get you spiritually swole and strong, right? We all like building our physical muscle. We all like building that. We all like getting that together. But what about your spiritual muscle? How strong do you want your spiritual muscle to be? Because when you start strengthening your spiritual muscle, you got the opportunity to be kind. You can move to this world with an open heart and open spirit. You can move to this world with unconditional love. You're going to bring and try to help others see in their down times. Turn to the Creator first. And once you turn to the universe and the Creator, and you're very thankful, I mean, just look, man, this beautiful sun every day, it pops out for everyone, and it's free. Like, they don't even charge for this. The sun is free. Like, they don't charge for this yet. The sun is free, the air is free. How beautiful. This is given to us, the stars, the sky. No matter how bad your day is, like, you can look to those things even on a rainy day, water coming down, like the beauty in it. That is the fortune of life. When you start doing these things, you start accepting all these fortunes. It's constant. Man, breathe in. How fortunate is that? I don't know how many people are actually out there. Have you ever not been able to breathe before? I mean, have any of y'all ever cracked y'all's ribs and you just couldn't breathe? You ever got lost the wind? You know, you were running as a kid playing, you tripped and fall, boom, hit your side of your stomach and you couldn't breathe. And then you start being able to breathe again, you're like, ah. Fortune is every day. Finding $1 on the ground. I mean, this is another example. I found $1 the other day. This was hilarious. I found $1 in an alleyway the other day. I picked $1 up. I'm like, wow, man, this is so fortunate. I found $1. Like, this is great. It's only $1, right? I go somewhere. A kid rolls up on me, asks me, did I want a refreshment? No, I already got a refreshment. I don't want a refreshment. I say, why? What's up? He tells me, oh, well, I'm just starting my first little business. The kid's like 8 years old. I was like, oh, really? I turn around, go back to my car, say, hey, man, come here. I want to donate $1 to you because I thought this is wonderful. He's 8 years old. He's trying to do something positive. He wants to start his first little business. This is cool. He's selling like drinks, refreshments. I give him $1 and he runs off real happy. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Because the fortune was like, right, it wasn't even about me finding $1. It was about, here's a little kid that you don't even know how that's inspiring him. He's sitting out there, he hasn't sold anything, but I gave him his first $1. And I gave him that $1. Now he's got this inspiration and he's like, man, I can really make money doing this. He comes back actually with the bottle of water. I say, and that's what he was selling was water, which is the spice of life, right? That's life. He come back and tried to give me the life. I told him, I said, you keep the bottle of water. The next person that buys the bottle of water from you, you give that to him for free. You see how the fortune can keep continuing because this person's going to buy a bottle of water and say, oh, man, thank you. Because everybody around him is buying the water. It's probably adults. Oh, I got a free bottle? You know what's going to happen? 9 times out of 10, that cute little kid that's 8 years old, they're going to turn around and say, man, I'm not going to accept that. Let me give you another $1. It's a chain reaction. Kindness. I could have just got in the car and said, no, I got a drink, drove off, and kept the $1 that I found on the ground that didn't belong to me anyway. Life is full of tests, man. And I didn't do it because I thought this was a test. I did it because I was like, wow, I don't need the $1. I'm already fortunate every day. But here's somebody, a little child trying to do something positive. Let me keep the positivity going. And I'm going to give him some fortune by giving him $1. And then I'm going to go ahead and continue that fortune by saying, no, the first person that buys from you, you give them a free one. Buy one, you just got one free for being my first customer. And you don't know how that's going to work out for him, the chain reaction that's going to happen. Point being, when you are kind, when you are loving, when you are moving through this world with unconditional love, when you take time to be attentive and patient, and sometimes just put our own personal things to the side. Because that day I had a lot of stuff going on. I had a lot of things going on, but I was choosing to be spiritually grounded and dwell myself inside of my prayers and my teachings and studies. And I took time to listen to somebody else's situations and issues and problems in life over mine. I took time to give to the little boy because bless somebody else, right? The lessons. And the blessings don't always come out of because something negative happening to you. Sometimes a lot of positive things are happening and it's putting you in the position to help someone else out. And it always doesn't have to be in a financial manner. Sometimes you don't got to say nothing. Sometimes it's just listening or praying. Putting forth a prayer or a good word to somebody. I love that in Demolition Man, where the people would walk up to each other. Be well, citizen. Be well. Be well, everybody. Spiritually, get strong. You want all this physical stuff Everybody want to look good and have all this muscle and all these things. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that, because you know what? When a lot of times when you get to those points, especially when it's done naturally, that's a reflection of your inner self, where you're at, your inner being's at. What I'm saying, be kind to each other. And when you're kind to each other, you'll see how the fortune flows. You know, I want to show y'all something right quick. This is weird. Look at that. These beautiful ducks and animals, right? All day long. All day long.